please welcome Dora Whitley and Michael Whitley to the show.
Portia, thank you for having us.
Yes,
Thank
indeed.
you so much.
It's a pleasure to have you both here. I know you work behind the scenes with a lot of powerful people and powerful couples, but
Absolutely.
we wanted to showcase the story behind all those other success stories, and you two are certainly an example of that.
Thank
It's
you.
our honor. Thank you.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you.
Let's talk about love and business.
Yes, let's get into
But
it.
of course, I love a good love story first. How did you meet?
You want my version or Michael's
I
version?
want both versions because we know they're both going to be funny. There's always two different sides of the same incident, the same day.
So I'll start. I met Dora in a restaurant. She was with a client, and I was trying to get in touch with that client. And we first exchanged information there, and we kept it business.
And when you said client, we should point out we're talking about entertainment management
Absolutely.
and business.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
Okay.
For the entertainment. It was Carl Payne. We don't have to hide it. Carl Payne from the hit show Martin.
Okay.
Absolutely, Cosby Show, and so we connected there, and then we reconnected at a screening that I was managing, which was Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Huge turnout, a lot of celebrities, lots of cameras, a lot of media, and Dora, my wife, she got there a little late, and we were able to go ahead and reconnect, and from there we were still on business terms.
Right.
I think he's leaving out the rain checks though. So the beginning.
Okay. All right. I was like, he's not saying something. Go ahead,
He's
fill us
cleaning
in.
it up, but it was a lot of rain checks, right? It was like, let's meet up, let's talk
So
about
there was
this
a
deal.
spark, but you
was a
you guys
spark.
were busy.
We
You
were
working.
busy. We were in committed relationships, so we knew, but it started off just as business, and then it was just like, hey, I'm busy. Let's table this to the next one. And after about 3, 4, 5 of them, it kind of went dead silent until this big screening,
Oh, okay.
which is where we rekindled.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So who knew? Like, was there I know this is the one, or was this like I'm gonna just keep watching and observing?
Honestly, I think it was faith, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you
I love
why. Saturday night, I was watching football, reading, and my wife, who was still a business associate at the time, gave me a call and invited me out to one of her clients' function down into the city. And I contemplated for a good half an hour, and I said,
Really?
yeah, absolutely, because it was not the initial business
It was raining.
meeting.
It was raining that evening too.
And it wasn't the initial business meeting that we were supposed to, have take place.
Right.
And so I said, listen, I'm not doing anything too important. Let me go ahead and finally get to meet Dora, because I don't know when the next time I'll be able to get in contact with her, or at least to be able to meet with her. And so from that point forward, we've been kind of inseparable.
I wish you could see the looks on their faces when they look at each other. There's just these little sweet looks. Yeah. So at that point, so obviously you started dating, and then how soon before you proposed? There's this beautiful
Honestly,
wedding.
from the time that we had the rain checks to when we saw each other at Captain America, it was a 3 months time frame. I was really exiting out of something I knew was no longer going to benefit me and my future. I learned later that Michael was going through the same. And so for us, it was like, hey, why don't we just try it?
Let's try it.
Let's
and
try
you
it.
tried it. And you looked
Definitely tried
beautiful
it.
doing this. Was in
Yes.
Paris.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And 4 years later from the day we met, we got married in Paris on the Seine River in front of the Eiffel Tower on a boat.
Which started
Yes.
in Cameroon.
Let me ask you about the proposal though. Did you know this was coming?
I had no idea.
Because it looks like you were surprised. Like
Listen
what?
to me.
What you on your knees
We
for?
went working out. Okay, we were in my childhood home
And in Cameroon.
in Cameroon, West Africa, in Yaoundé, the capital. And he said, let's go for a run. And I was like, I'm not going for a run this morning. Okay, so I ended up going on a run and joining him. As we get down the last stretch to get to my childhood home, he just takes off running, and I'm like, what's going on? And he knows I won't go anywhere by myself. So I'm like,
I used the excuse that I had to use the restroom.
that's what it was.
And I said,
Yeah.
listen, I will meet you back at your house.
And so he beat me to the gate. The guard opened the gate for him and closed it back. And little did I know, when I came around the corner out of breath, I go in, the guard lets me in, and here's Michael on his knees pretending like he's having an asthma attack. And I'm
my
like,
gosh.
dude, this is not what you're doing right now. Your parents are not going to say that I brought you to Africa to do anything to you. I need you to get it
up,
together.
get it together.
My brother is standing there. I'm like, get some water. We're like, why y'all staring at me? Get some water. Emma, go do this. Go find his inhaler.
Yeah.
I am like going from coming out of
Right.
breath to like this high tension. And so
When did it become very clear
When it became
that
clear,
this was-
he's speaking to me in French, and I'm like, oh, he's really out of it now. Because French is my first language,
That's
but
your
I'm like,
first language.
oh, maybe
but that's
that's
not your first
Not my
language.
first
That's not-
So you had somebody teach you how to propose in French?
Several.
Yes.
Several people.
Yes.
Impressive.
And do you
monsieur.
imagine when I'm like, what are you saying? I can't. And then I finally hear it, and he's really asking me, will you marry me in French? And I'm like, I'm going to. Won't say the word,
You
right?
won't, you
And
won't.
then my family's in the back like clapping, and I look behind me, there's a whole camera B-rolling the entire moment. And I was like, you know what?
And by B-rolling, she means taking video of the whole
Yes,
moment. Always the
yes,
media expert.
always
I
the
get it.
media hat,
I love
yes.
it. Absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
So at some point, though, it's going to be very clear that you're going to be in love and in business together, right?
Absolutely.
Because you guys were doing your own separate thing.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's has to be quite a transition.
Mm-hmm.
And in the process of all that, though, there's still family that's going to be created. There's going to there are babies that come. There's a son. Tell me more.
So I inherited a bonus son, and from day one, before Mike and I decided, hey, this is going to be, if this is going to be valid, the person to stamp it will be my son. And at the time, I think MJ was 6 or 7. And Michael was like, I said, well, what does he love? He's like, he loves Marvel. And I'm looking like, listen, I'm a typical African child. We were doing mathematics and science. Like, I can't tell you anything about Marvel. He's like, you're going to have to learn. So my first time meeting MJ, I took him out to the comic store. I learned what I could on Marvel. We had a conversation. We bonded. And that is the best bonus son. He prepared me for our daughter.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
I'll add to that to say, I mean, it's quite simple. First came love, then came marriage, and then of course we had our daughter Paris.
Yes, we
Yes.
see her absolutely
Yes.
beautiful family
So-
here.
So, she's 18 months.
Yes.
Paris, email, Anaya's Whitley.
Yes.
So if you take the first 3 letters of her first 3 name is P, so we call her P, as in P-E-A, P-E-A.
a sweet pea.
Yes,
Sweet
Sweet
pea.
Pea.
She's a sweet pea.
And I
Absolutely.
named her, you know, one of her middle names is my late mother who's passed away, so Emil, which is why we named her that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful love story.
Thank
It
you.
is a beautiful love story.
Thank you.
And that beautiful love story then still evolves into a beautiful business story.
Correct.
With you splitting time between Atlanta and Paris,
Paris.
which is home, which is why we see you in Parisian streets and in these Atlanta streets, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's an incredible story,
Thank you.
and I'm looking forward to hearing how you manage the part where there's love and parenting and the business.
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to continue that story coming up just after the break. So stay with us. You're going to hear how the Whitleys ascent to success. It continues today. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And then later, the Whitleys are going to share some tips to balancing successful business, parenting, and a loving relationship. It's a lot, and they're doing it. It's what power couples do.